guys, you probably clicked on this video because you're wondering why you're fat. Now, I didn't put that title to offend you. I put that title to educate you. So you're probably here because you maybe have a little bit of excess fat or maybe some stubborn belly fat that you're looking to burn. What I would like to do is break it down into simple terms so you can make better choices when you're thinking about when you eat your food and what type of food you eat. So we're going to break it down into simple terms so it's understandable. And that's what this YouTube channel is all about. It's about providing education, empowerment, and if you choose, accountability. So what we're going to do today is we're going to break it down into a taxi driver, a passenger that gets into that taxi, and a store owner. So I want you to follow along with me. The great thing about having a video is you can rewind it back if you don't understand something, or direct message me and I will get you the answer right away. This is all about education, empowerment, and if you want, accountability. So let's go right into it. So we're going to talk about a passenger, a taxi, and a store owner. So let's break it down. All right, guys. So when you eat carbohydrates, it converts to glucose in the body. So glucose is going to be our passenger today, okay? Insulin is what picks up the glucose in your body after you eat carbohydrates. That's going to be our taxi. The decision maker of whether it goes to your fat stores or burn for fuel is going to be our store owner. So let's break it down. When you eat carbohydrates, so in the morning, if you eat a donut or you have a sugary coffee drink or some apple juice or whatever you eat in the morning, some breakfast cereal, it converts to glucose. That's what happens in the body. That is the passenger. It needs a ride somewhere. So immediately when it goes in your body, it has to be transported to the cell, correct? Then insulin, the taxi driver, immediately wakes up and says, I need to pick up my passenger glucose. So now glucose gets in the taxi. Now the taxi has to take the glucose somewhere. Your body has to make some decisions at this point. Now the interesting thing about the taxi, which is insulin, it's a very dominant hormone in the body. When there's excess insulin, you're going to store body fat. When there is insulin present, your number one fat burning hormone, growth hormone gets suppressed. So when the dominant hormone insulin kicks in, the taxi, your growth hormone goes down, which is your number one fat burning hormone. So remember that. Now these two, the passenger gets into the taxi, they go for a drive down to the store owner. Now imagine this as your fat cells and imagine this as fuel. So the store owner has to make a decision. The store owner is sitting there saying, okay, John, I'll use myself for example. John expended a ton of energy in his workout and he has an energy deficiency, a caloric deficiency, so maybe 500 calories. So if I have that going on in my body, I've been exercising, I'm eating correctly, the store owner will utilize that. It'll get it off the shelves. It'll sell it right away. It'll sell it right off the shelves. On the other hand, if you're not exercising and there's no caloric deficit or energy deficiency, the store owner has to make a decision to store it on the shelves because it's not being burned. So what happens is if you have excess insulin, which is excess carbohydrates or glucose, it's going to store on the shelves as body fat. It's that simple, guys. It's not that complicated. So what happens is in normal human beings in society is they're eating carbs all day. You wake up in the morning, you have a donut, you have your coffee. Insulin picks up the glucose, takes it to the store owner, stores the excess insulin on the shelves, goes into your fat cells. And it just keeps doing this process over and over and over again. Now knowing that, I want you to think critically right now. So knowing this, what would be the next thing you need to do? There's two things you need to do. Number one is you need to be able to allow the store owner to make a decision to burn it as fuel. One way you can do that is exercise, creating an energy deficiency with your caloric intake so that your body will use the carbohydrates as fuel. Or you can create insulin sensitivity, which if you've been following me, I'm a huge fan of intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting creates a fasted window. It's not that you don't eat. It creates a fasted window so your body can create insulin sensitivity. So it forces the store owner to make a decision to suck it up as fuel when you eat it. Let me explain quickly. So intermittent fasting is creating a fasted window. It's periods of eating. It's not a nutrition plan. It's not a diet. It's just a pattern of eating. For example, I do what's called the 16-8 most often. I eat in an 8-hour window, and I fast for 16 hours a day, only drinking water. Now the way that it would look is, if I stopped eating at 6, I would fast all the way to about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, depending on my schedule. Now what happens is if I just skip breakfast, what happens is as about 12 hours, my body goes into a fasted state. The next 4 hours, my store owner is saying, hey, there's no insulin present. There's no insulin coming down the pipe. So one thing that happens, remember when I said insulin is a dominant hormone and suppresses our number one fat burning hormone, growth hormone? So when there's no insulin present, guess what? Your growth hormone goes up. So for 4 hours, you're pumping out growth hormone and you're burning fat. Another thing that happens is when you eat after being in a fasted state, your body is insulin sensitive. Insulin sensitive. So glucose is in the taxi. Now it's sensitive to this glucose. So when it comes down this pipe, when you're insulin sensitive, your body's going to suck it up and use it as fuel. It's really that simple. So hopefully this will allow you to make better decisions on eating patterns and also the type of food you eat. You need to create some sort of fasted window, or you need to burn the carbohydrates or insulin for energy. It's that simple, guys. Don't make it so complicated. One thing you never want to do is don't go on a crash diet. Don't go on a 500 calorie diet. We'll talk about this in further videos. You need to eat to lose weight. But one decision you can make right now is how are you going to help the store owner make a decision to use it as fuel? So hopefully this video helped. Direct message me if you have any questions. We're going to keep the videos coming around supplement reviews. We're going to be talking about intermittent fasting. We're going to be talking about high intensity interval cardio and how you can turn your body into a fat burning machine. So remember, you need to train your store owner to use your insulin carbohydrates as fuel. We'll talk to you in the next video, guys. Thank you.